Ladies and gentlemen of the Delaware Valley, we have found the sun. It's in Detroit where the Phillies get set for a 3-game series against the Tigers at Comerica Park. Come on inside. Vince Velasquez will make the start tonight for the Phils against the Tigers. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Matt Stairs. All right, so the Phillies may be meeting the Detroit Tigers at the wrong time. They've won 6 of 7. At the start of the season, I think everybody thought this would be a balanced offensive attack. It has not been a balanced offensive attack, but they have 2 guys in the top 5 at hitting. Victor Martinez is one, and Nick Castellanos is the other.
Yeah, Castellanos was swinging the bat extremely well. You know, he was a first-round draft pick in 2010. Now, this is the 3rd full season as a third baseman for the Detroit Tigers. I really like his swing because his bat stays through the zone so long. He has good power to center field. If it's an off-speed pitch, he knows how to turn the ball. He keeps his hands inside. He keeps the ball fair down the line. He's hit with a lot of confidence. He's in the middle of the order. He's hitting second tonight. He feels very comfortable sitting there. He sees a lot of fastballs. He put a lot of pressure on the other pitchers.
Well, and he also has some guys around him, like Victor Martinez, we mentioned. And how about Miguel Cabrera? Hit by a pitch yesterday, but he's back in the lineup today. And Ian Kinsler is riding a 10-game hitting streak.
Well, these guys are making each other better. They can see a lot of fastballs. You know, if Ian Kinsler's getting on base, and all of a sudden JT Martinez, who we did not show in that graph, hitting 263 with 9 home runs, these guys are seeing a lot of fastballs because the guys are getting on base in front of each other.
All right, well, speaking of fastballs, I asked Cameron Rupp today, I said, how are you going to attack this Tigers team with Vince Velasquez? He said, we're going to go right after him with his fastball.
Well, would you expect anything different? This is a guy who just loves his fastball. His last start, he had second, third in the first inning, got in a little trouble, but here all of a sudden he gets an absolute missile right here, hit the shortstop. Freddie does a nice job watching the runner, holds him up, throws the guy to first base. Stanton, who had a terrible series, blew him away with a fastball. Now all of a sudden he comes back with an off-speed pitch, gets a nice job of getting a second, third, nobody out of the inning, no runs. You can just tell he's starting to pitch a little more confidence in the game. Right there, all of a sudden he started locking up the fastball, spotting the fastballs. Now pitches by inning 25, 24, 25, 17, and 12. It's not because he was out of the zone. He only walked 2 guys, 10 punch-outs. There was a lot of foul balls that day. He didn't really have that overpowering fastball to get rid of the hitters early, but he still got 5 innings. He still got the win.
31 foul balls in that ball game against the Miami Marlins, and I asked Cameron Rupp about that as well. He said when you're around the zone, they're just going to try to put the bat on the baseball. So it is game 1 of this 3-game series. It'll be Velasquez. He'll be opposed by Mike Pelfrey. Pelfrey has seen this Phillies team many times during his career, but this will be the first time since 2013. Well, speaking of Cameron Rupp, he is back in the lineup and back behind the plate for the Phillies. He had a heck of a series against the Braves. That opposite field home run was huge. We'll get to the lineups at first pitch when we return. baseball. The Phils and the Tigers, game 1 of a 3-game series. Mike Pelfrey just returned for the bullpen, and he's back in the dugout for the Tigers. Vince Velasquez, you can see him in the background, heading to the dugout for the Phillies, getting set to make this start. There's a lot going on here in downtown Detroit. You got Ford Field, the home of the Lions. They got a brand new arena being built for the Red Wings that's going up about a block and a half from here. And of course, this beautiful facility, we will play 2 night games and a day game. Day game will be kind of interesting here because of the reflections off the seats that the players will have to deal with. The lineup cards are being exchanged at home plate. Mickey Morandini and Omar Vizquel, pretty good middle infielders that are exchanging the lineup cards for tonight's ball game. Phillies made a little news earlier today with an international signing. Murph, who did they get?
Well, they got Osmel Aguila, who is a Cuban outfielder. It's a guy actually that they've been trying to get into the organization since spring training, but he is from Cuba. It took a little bit of time, but he is finally signed and sealed, and he is a corner outfielder. He can play all 3 outfield positions, but he is a corner outfielder, 26-year-old, 6 years, a professional player in Cuba. He is going to report to extended spring training for the Phillies, get his legs underneath him, get his timing down, and then Matt Klentak, the GM, Phillies GM, said today that he'll most likely report to AAA and play there. And if the Phils need depth later on in this season at the corner outfield positions, he could be a guy that gets called up. Matt was very clear in saying, this is a guy that's going to need some work. He's going to have to play some time in AAA. He is not an immediate solution for anything. He is just a guy that they like and they think can add some depth in the organization. So he will be joining the extended spring training. In fact, he reported today, and we could see him in AAA in the next couple of weeks as well, guys.
All right, Murph, we appreciate that. And here come the Tigers. They take the field behind Mike Pelfrey. Pelfrey, the former New York Met. The Phillies saw a number of times. Interleague play in 2016. Well, the National League actually has a 1-game edge over the American League. That doesn't normally happen. Both teams or both leagues have homered the same amount of time, and the National League is hitting a little bit better. Phillies at 3-0 in interleague games so far. Let's take a look at the Phillies lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity. The new Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Herrera, Hernandez, and Franco, followed by Ryan Howard, Tommy Joseph, and Cameron Rupp in the bottom third of Freddie Galvis, Tyler Goodell, and Peter Borges. They will face right at Mike Pelfrey, now 32 years old, 6'7", 240 pounds. He has not won yet this year. In fact, he hasn't gone through the 6th inning but 2 times so far this season.
Yeah, his biggest problem this year with Mike is that he's throwing a lot of baseballs out of the zone. Yeah, he's the type of guy that he can pound the strike zone. When you take a look at his scouting report, 91, 94 mile-an-hour fastball. He'll live right around 92, 93. Split finger fastball, slider, and curve. But the problem with him is that the fastball, legs hitting 350 versus.
That's not good.
Which means he's getting way too much of that plate, that's for sure.
Well, he says, I feel like I'm getting closer. It's been the 6th inning that's been the problem. I can't get through that 6th inning. Brad Ausmus, in his 3rd year as the manager of the Tigers. He was under fire about a week or so ago, but they've won 6 of 7. And they're within a game of 500. All right, let's take a look at the Nissan keys to today's game.
Well, for today it's going to be about pitching. Be patient with Pelfrey. Stats do not lie. I mentioned fastball, the legs hitting 350. Overall, the legs hitting 333 versus him. He will give you a pitch to hit. The legs hitting 333 off a slider as well. And Vince, make the Tigers choose in or away. Meaning pitch to both sides of the plate. You have good velocity. They can't cover the inside part and the outside part. So mix it up, pitch to both corners, and don't be afraid to double up in on these right-handers as well.
I asked Cameron Rupp about the game plan. He said, well, first things first, the game plan is to get Vince some runs in the first couple innings, so then he can throw that fastball as much as he wants. Odubel Herrera will lead it off. Herrera hitting 325. He was 8 for 30 on the homestand. And the first pitch of the night is in there. We're underway. It's no balls and 1 strike. 76 degrees, Matt Stairs.
Heat wave.
It was beautiful today here in Detroit. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Denise Nazy of Nazareth. Phillies hit home run in today's ball game. Then Denise will win $100. One ball, 1 strike to Odubel. Outside with a changeup, it's 2-1. Pelfrey is not a fast worker. He wasn't a fast worker when he was in the National League, and he certainly is not a fast worker here in the American League. In fact, he probably fits in the American League a little bit better. The 2-1 pitch is hit foul over the Tigers dugout.
So you're saying that the tempo of this first at bat will be very slow?
I would think so. The combination of Herrera and Pelfrey, yeah, I would think so.
Pelfrey doesn't work very quick, and at times it looks like he's thinking too much.
I would think that
he's trying to break down every pitch that he's going to throw. It has to be perfect. He actually has pretty good stuff when he's down the zone, and his strikeout pitch is the split finger fastball.
Two-seamer did not come all the way back, and it's 3-2. Pretty good pitch. Cesar Hernandez waits on deck. I asked Rich Doobie today, I said, is he still fidgety out on the mound? He said, nah, he's not as bad as he used to be. Odubel fouls it back to the screen. There is Rich Doobie, the former Phillies pitching coach. 12 years at the Phillies organization. 9 as their pitching coach. He didn't used to need reading glasses when he was the Phillies pitching coach.
Never used to have gray hair either.
Nope.
Whenever he sees me, he'd always say, hello, slap shot.
Here's the 3-2 pitch again to Odubel. And then Odubel fouls it once again. This is a typical Odubel Herrera at bat. He is 7th in Major League Baseball in pitches seen per AB. He's 3rd in the National League in that category.
And it's a typical Pelfrey at bat as well. Guy throws a lot of pitches early. You mentioned earlier he hasn't made 7 innings this year. He's 6 1/3. It's 104 pitches.
Tigers signed him to a 2-year contract after 2 years with the Minnesota Twins. He spent 7 seasons with the Mets, where he was 50 and 54 with an ERA of 4.36. His best year was 2010. He won 15 games, and I think everybody thought he had turned the corner. But he turned it and then made a U-turn back around again.
One-way street.
Yep. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Another foul ball. Well, this is a heck of an at-bat. 9 pitch at-bat so far for Odubel.
Even though it is almost 7:30, 7:24. Guess it's 7:14. It is a little difficult right now if you see the batter's eye in center field. Very bright.
It'll be light for a while here. Phillies arrived last night on a quick flight from home. It was 1 hour and 7 minutes. And it was still light when they landed. He's just throwing fastballs. He's trying to get him to, to hit. First pitch was 7:09, so this is a 6-minute at bat. We might get to 7:24 pretty fast, Matt. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Herrera. This is outstanding.
I love it. I mean, I really do.
12 pitch at bat. This will be the 13th pitch.
The key to a first game of a series is getting that bullpen very early.
Well, they're on their way. And now the crowd's getting into it more and more with one reaction after another. Pelfrey's just shaking his head. You think he might want to throw a breaking ball or something?
No, you keep on throwing a fastball. And unfortunately, yes, it's a long at bat. It's been going on for 8 minutes now. But Odubel Herrera's had about 5 good pitches to hit.
Oh, he has.
And he's
You're right.
missing it. So you go back and everyone taps you on the helmet and say, hey, good at bat. If you don't get a hit, no, it wasn't.
And a line drive base hit into center field. So they will tap him on the back and say good at bat. A 14 pitch AB, and it ends with a single to center for Herrera. I think the last 6 or 7 pitches were fastballs.
Yeah, it was. Watch the shortstop. He's moving to his right, thinking it's going to be a two-seamer. Hits it back up the middle. Up the middle. A lot of times the middle infielders will tip what's going to come on. Off speed, they'll usually go either left or right. Two-seamer, they usually move to their right.
Cesar taking a look at Juan Samuel. Sammy coached here in Detroit. Out towards second. That should be 2. There's 1 and 2. 4-6-3 double play. And 2 outs here in the first. No, he hit it right on the nose, but he hit it right at Ian Kinsler at second base. Michael Franco will now be the hitter. Franco on this homestand was 9 for 33 with 6 RBIs. Let's see his numbers over this recent stretch. And he chops it past the third base bag.
Well, one thing about this is that you never think about this. At first base, you got to worry about the seats in left field. You see Cabrera was fighting the shadow or the glare in left field.
Yeah.
Because this ballpark is one of 2 ballparks, and I can't remember the second one. It's built backwards, where the sun always affects the outfielders, and in day games it affects the hitters because it's in center field.
Swing and a miss, 0-2. Outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pelfrey is 8-8 in interleague games during his career. 1-2 pitch is floated over the head of Ian Kinsler into right center field for a base hit. So Michael has had a couple of those hits over the last couple of days. Today's ball game is also available in Spanish. Just use the SAP button on your television or change the language through the menu on your cable box. Well, Ryan Howard will be the hitter. Howard is 0 for his last 14. He is DHing today. Will DH tomorrow. Hitting a .161. Certainly has had his fair share of ABs against Mike Pelfrey during his career. And he hits that one out towards center field. Cameron Maben winds over, makes the catch. And the side is retired. No runs, 2 hits, and 1 man left. We'll head to the bottom of the first. Phillies nothing and the Tigers coming up. in. Vince Velasquez takes to the mound. Let's take a look at the Tigers lineup that he'll face tonight. It's brought to you by Xfinity. The new Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Kinsler, Martinez, and Cabrera, followed by Victor Martinez, Nick Castellanos, and Steven Moya, who's playing for the injured Justin Upton. Bottom third of Cameron Maybin, James McCann, and Jose Iglesias. And they will face Vince Velasquez. Velasquez 5-1 on the year with an ERA of 2.42. Well, Matt, we've enjoyed watching him pitch so far in his first full year in the big leagues.
We've enjoyed watching him pitch, and I've enjoyed his ability to change his game plan. If the fastball is getting hit a little hard, he's being able to go to plan B and start mixing in some changeups and some slider. And believe it or not, the league's hitting a $167 off his changeup, which all of a sudden, as Vince should think, hey, maybe it actually is a very important pitch that I should start throwing more often.
Yeah. Well, he'll face Ian Kinsler to start it off. Kinsler hitting .313, already with 10 home runs and 24 runs batted in. He is riding a 10-game hitting streak. Those are great numbers for Ian Kinsler. He also has 9 doubles. He's scored 40 runs, which is tops in baseball. No balls and 2 strikes. Kinsler's got such a short swing. The trade, which brought him over from the Texas Rangers, sent Prince Fielder to the Rangers, and it's actually worked out well for both teams. 429 hits since the 2014 season began. And now the 0-2 pitch to Kinsler. In the dirt, 93-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's 1-2.
I would say the deal worked out better for Detroit in many ways.
Yeah, you're right.
Cabrera goes to first base. Victor Martinez can become the DH. Now all of a sudden you can start moving guys around. Victor can play first. Cabrera can have a day off of DHing. Ian Kinsler's changed his approach of hitting a ton.
So he strikes out at a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, and 1 away here in the first.
Good fastball, elevated a little bit, swings underneath it.
Well, that's a big guy to get out, and that'll bring J.D. Martinez to the plate. Martinez 3 for 14 in the most recent series against the Tampa Bay Rays. All right, so 95 is the hardest fastball that he's thrown so far out of the 6 that he's fired.
That's what I wanted to see, how Vince was going to start off the first inning, if he was going to come out, live at 91, 92. Or if he's going to come out and hit the 94, 95 miles an hour. I thought that coming in against a team with a very good offensive team like the Detroit Tigers, Vince was going to step up his game and say, here comes my best. Let's see if you can handle with the fastball.
I would agree with you on that. And just talking to Cameron, that's basically what their game plan was going to be. Little foul ball back behind the plate.
Did we hear a stat earlier that the Detroit Tigers love to swing at the first pitch, and they're hitting over 400 as a team when they swing at the first pitch in at bat.
And your thought would be that they're going to get a fastball. That's why they're swinging at it, right?
Exactly.
Fly ball right field. That's pretty well hit. Borges going back. He's got room, and he makes the catch about 2 steps from the wall. Yeah, there are 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Now the dimensions are deep. Not as deep as they once were, but they're still pretty deep. That's 365 out near where Peter Borges caught the ball. No, Dubel's got a lot of room to roam out there. 420 feet to center field. And Miguel Cabrera will be the batter. Cabrera hitting .315 with 9 homers and 26 runs batted in. And he takes one low, 1 ball, no strikes. Yesterday, Cabrera was hit by a pitch in his knee, and some folks thought that he might take today off. He got some treatment, took some batting practice, and was perfectly fine. .326 hitter since the Tigers acquired him. He's a lifetime .321 hitter. I have to admit, there were years when he was with the Marlins where I thought he was kind of like Hanley Ramirez, where he had the ability and just wasn't turning it on all the time. Well, he's turned it on since he came here.
Well, if there's a young player that's coming up in the major leagues and you want to watch a guy and learn how to hit, this is a guy you want to watch. A lot of teams will do the shift on him on the infield. They'll put 3 infielders on the shortstop side.
Yep.
He's not greedy. He'll take that base hit to right field. He's won, what, 3, 4 batting titles? He knows how to hit.
Yeah, he's a very talented guy. Fouls it over the Phillies dugout, out of play. Here's yesterday when he was hit by the pitch. At that point, he was 3 for 3 with a solo home run. Yeah, he was in a lot of pain as he limped off the field. Another one back to the screen. Looks like he's still in a little bit of pain hopping around.
A little late in this fastball, and you can see right in the end right here. Just kind of catches him a little bit. Not that it's really going to affect his speed, but maybe that planting that front foot and being able to turn on a fastball or get through on a fastball.
And there's ball 4. So Cabrera draws the walk. Best velocity of the night, but not the location that he wanted. And that'll bring Victor Martinez to the plate. Victor .329 with 6 home runs, 24 runs batted in. See his numbers against the Phillies. A lot of that damage was done when he was with the Boston Red Sox. The Phillies would face the Red Sox so often. But he's another one. He has been a good hitter since he came into the league with the Cleveland Indians. Miguel Cabrera is probably not a threat to run, but Velasquez tosses over anyway. He is 5th in the league at hitting, or excuse me, tied for 4th in the league at hitting. David Ortiz is also at .329, which is remarkable considering this is his last year. Outside and low, 1 ball, no strikes. Off the hands and blooped into left field. Cabrera will stop at second, and the Tigers have runners on first and second with 2 men down. So Nick Castellanos will be the batter with runners on first and second. This kid truly is one of the better stories in the American League, hitting .340. He's hitting .315 during the month of May. He is 7th in the league in OPS and then has 15 multi-hit games this season.
But what a place to hit in the order. You're going to hit behind Cabrera. You're going to hit behind Martinez. Both guys hitting over 300. 315 and 333. Martinez is hit second. He's going to get, he's going to get a lot of fastballs because Cabrera's sitting behind him. He's hitting with guys on scoring on base 2, maybe 3 times every game because the guys in front of him are getting on.
Absolutely.
So you see a lot of fastballs. You get a lot of opportunities where if they can't throw their off-speed pitches for strikes, now you're back in a hitter's count. And that's the reason why he has as many RBIs as he does.
He's driven in 30. So he has 30. Victor Martinez has 24. And Miguel Cabrera has 26. Breaking ball. That's the first breaking ball of the night for Velasquez. His breaking pitch is a curveball. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, you got the first 2 batters with relative ease, and now, although J.D. Martinez did hit one to the warning track and right, and now he's fallen behind Castellanos with the runners on first and second.
Pretty good location right there.
He's asking the home plate umpire, and the home plate umpire is not really responding. It's the veteran Mike DeMuro behind the plate. Might have been a little outside, a little low.
Yeah.
It was close. Nick Lentz at first, Brian Gorman at second, Quinn Walcott over third. Inside, ball 4. Yeah, that'll load the bases up. So a little bit of predicament here for Velasquez. Bases are loaded. Steven Moya will be the batter.
By the way, the home plate umpire is a very good hitter's umpire. Early in the game, he makes the pitchers get the ball over the plate. Now, he'll expand a little later. The reason why I know that is because he kicked me out of a game one time when he expanded it a little bit too far. But he is a very good hitter's umpire early in the game.
Love it.
Moya fouls it off. Moya is playing tonight. Justin Upton was originally in the lineup, but he came down with a quad issue. So that's why they put Moya in about an hour and a half before the start of tonight's ball game. Brad Ausmus has 4 guys on the bench. Moya is a big target. He stands 6'7". Up and in, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, his mechanics have kind of left him over the last couple of batters, and hence he's thrown 25 pitches. Blew a fastball by him there. It's 1-2. That's something he can do if he needs it. Cabrera's at third base. Martinez at second. Castellanos over at first. Not a whole lot of speed to third and second. 2-2. And he's fighting the home plate umpire a little bit.
He is, but I also think he's fighting himself a little bit. He's a little frustrated on the mound. Last couple pitches he throws, he threw a nice fastball. The previous pitch, swung and miss. Still looks like he's a little frustrated. You got to have a short memory in this game. Umpires will miss a call, believe it or not.
His problem the other day was that he went 5 innings and struck out 10, but he was lifted because of his pitch count because there were so many foul balls. Ripped foul, breaking ball.
Look where your third base coach is.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Clarky?
Yeah. I think if you stay near the ribbon that's embedded in the grass, that's okay. Swing and a miss. He got him. It took 29 pitches, but he gets through the first inning. He picks up 2 strikeouts along the way. He'll have a little brief conversation with Mike DeMuro, the home plate umpire, as he heads out. It looked like it was cordial. We'll go to the second in a scoreless game. Phil's in the Tigers scoreless. We go to the top of the second. Tommy Joseph will lead it off. Joseph playing first base tonight. Tommy 0 for his last 6, hitting .250, a home run, 1 RBI. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. 50 pitches combined between the 2 teams in the first inning, or between the 2 pitchers, I should say. Breaking ball, and it's 1-2. Pete McCann was asked if Tommy Joseph can grab hold of the starting first base position this week if he hits the ball well. And he was not ready to give him that honor. He said, you know, I'm going to go week by week. He said, that's my plan right now. He said, I think it's the only thing I can do at this point is go week by week. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Interesting that you hear week by week. It's usually series by series.
Yeah, that's true.
Ryan looks bored.
Down the right field line and out of play. Chopper up the third base line. Castellanos charges and throws him out. And one gone here in the second. Time now for our GMC precision plays of the game, and it was Cameron Rupp yesterday having himself a day.
Yeah, it was. Nice short swing right there, hitting a home run to right field. I really loved his approach yesterday, hitting the balls back up the middle, which is so important for Cameron. When he gets in trouble, he tries to pull too much. So back-to-back hits up the middle and a home run to right field. That will lock you in for a while, and that was your GMC precision plays.
Well, he just looks comfortable at the plate. He just looks like his foundation is right there. Hitting .274, couple home runs, 10 runs batted in. And a first pitch fastball upstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. Cameron has hit in 5 straight games. He was 7 for 15 against the Atlanta Braves. There's a ground ball to shortstop, or I should say in the homestand. And he throws him out. 2 outs here in the second. And that'll bring Freddie Galvis to the plate. Galvis .241, 4 home runs, 17 runs batted in. Those are his numbers against the Braves. He was 9 for 32 overall on the homestand. Fly ball left field. And Moya comes running in, and it's going to drop. And he's going to throw on the run to second base and get Freddie Galvis. Galvis is saying he got his foot in there because Kinsler was feeling around for the tag. I don't know how Moya didn't catch that ball. It was up there for so long. They've asked to hold the defense. The Phillies will check it before they decide whether they want to review it or not. Missed him there. I think he got him on the leg.
See, tag came up short. Wow, that's a yeah, they had him.
I think he swiped him on the leg as it was coming up. So a single, and he's thrown out trying to stretch it to a double, and we will stretch to the bottom of the second. Cameron Maybin will lead it off. It'll be Maybin, James McCann, Jose Iglesias for the Tigers. And Velasquez delivers a strike. It's 0-1. All right, so his conversation with Mike DeMuro as he was walking off the field, does that help, you think? Does it get into DeMuro's head a little bit? All right, I'm going to look a little closer at some of these pitches.
Depends if he's making suggestions or if he's asking questions. You know, if he's asking those questions of those pitches just missing off the plate, you know, I have it as a strike. You know, can maybe look at it a little longer next time. You know, Michael say yes, I'll look at it a little longer. Some guys will ignore you. Derwin Merrill, I can't say what he would tell you to do, but as long as you ask an umpire politely, they'll help you out as much as they can.
Right.
And if you disagree with something, the best thing to do is to drop your head and then talk to the ground. That way you're not showing them up.
Cameron Maybin, since coming off the disabled list, is 12 for 20. He was on the DL with hand and wrist issues. Missed the first part of the season. Former Phil prospect Anthony Gose was playing center field. 1-2 pitch, a little low, 2-2. Breaking ball lined out towards center. Odubel Herrera will knock it down on one hop. That ball was knuckling the entire time. And the reigning American League Player of the Week starts this week off on a good note with a base hit to center field. And that'll bring James McCann to the plate. All right, Murph, well, this is a big outfield for Odubel Herrera to roam.
It certainly is, Tom. You know, I talked to him today about it because it is such a massive outfield, and of course this is the first time that Odubel Herrera has been here at Comerica Park. And I said to him, you know, what did you do when you got here? He said one of the first things he did was come out to the field, go out to center field, and kind of look around. I said, what are your thoughts? He says, I love it because it allows me to run around, and he likes to be able to run from, you know, spot to spot. He's obviously got very good speed, so he feels like he can kind of roam out there and do some things out there defensively. You stop and think about Peter Borges and Tyler Goodell also out there in the outfield. Despite this being one of the largest outfields in baseball, you would think the Phils are pretty well positioned from a defensive standpoint in terms of their outfielders to be able to cover the ground out there because they all have a lot of speed. But for Odubel Herrera, his first look at this, he says, yeah, bring it on. I like the space out there. I'm going to roam.
Yeah, all three of these guys are center fielders or could be center fielders. So tracking it down should not be a problem. Although Odubel had a little trouble with that last ball. 4 errors and mostly on the same play. Those ground balls right at him.
Well, one thing about this ballpark and having 3 fast outfielders is minus right center, it's a simple ballpark to play. You know, you don't have to worry about the crazy bounces in left field.
There's a big bounce to Maikel Franco. They'll get 1 and 2. An around the horn 5-4-3 double play. Nice turn by Cesar Hernandez at second base.
Well, it was a great turn at second base. Nice quick hands by Cesar Hernandez, but the key was Maikel Franco gave him an absolute strong throw, hitting him in the chest. Perfect feed, good exchange. I didn't think they had a chance because it was a high chopper, but it was a great turn all the way around.
Well, they've been working a lot on that the last couple weeks, particularly the throw from Franco to second base. Here's Iglesias with 2 men down. And the first pitch inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Line drive, foul ball. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Iglesias. Iglesias is a fantastic fielder. He has not really swung the bat all that well this year. Down the right field line, that'll go out of play.
That's right there. As an outfielder, you watch the last 2 swings, and you shouldn't have to have one, Samuel, tell you to move to your left. You know, he's not pulling the ball. He's late on the fastball. You should take, as an outfielder, and say, okay, I'm going to move over and keep going over. And that's where the pitcher has to realize, too, that your defense is switching. Last thing you want to do is throw an off-speed pitch, because now your outfielders are out of position. If you keep on hitting foul balls late, you know the outfielders are moving. Continue throwing the fastball away.
Throws him a breaking ball, and he skies it out toward left field. And Tyler Goodell is under it, makes the catch, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, and nobody left. We'll go to the 3rd, still scoreless between the Phils and the Tigers. To Citizens Bank Park when the Phillies get off this road trip, May 30th, 31st, and June 1st. Tickets are available for all 3 night games, including Memorial Day. You can go to Phillies.com and purchase them right now. I have a feeling that Greg Murphy may be venturing out to that spot at some point in this series. That is out in center field. And it's a restaurant overlooking Comerica Park. Tyler Goodell waves at the first pitch for Mike Pelfrey. And it's 0-1. Goodell, 267, a home run, 7 runs batted in, 13 hits on the homestand, and he chops that one back toward the middle. Kinsler has it, flips it to first, and it goes right on by Miguel Cabrera. Fortunately, though, for the Tigers, it hit the netting in front of the dugout. Otherwise, Goodell would have been at second base.
Ian does a nice job right here making a strong throw to the wrong guy. He threw it to Mick.
Boy, that wasn't even close. They have scored at a base hit. So 4 hits for the Phils. And Peter Borges is coming up. Peter making his 37th start of the season. And most of his starts have been in right field, some in center, and a couple in left field. You want to maybe do a little bunt here, Matt? I know it's only the third inning.
Yeah, American League Baseball, they don't do a lot of bunting.
Broke his bat, little dribbler, kind of like a swing and bunt. And he does get Goodell up to second base. So is that how they do it in the American League?
Yes.
1-3 on the putout. Time now for the Jeep Stump the Fans trivia question. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fans section for all the information. And please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, Matt, the question is, who was the last Tiger before Miguel Cabrera in 2012 and 13 to win the American League MVP? The last Tiger before Miguel Cabrera to win the MVP. Answer will be revealed a little later on. And Odubel will bat with a runner in scoring position. Odubel singled his first time up. Since the Phillies put Odubel into the leadoff spot, they have won 19 of the 27 games they've played. So they're 19-8. It's around the same time that they put the pitcher in the 8-hole. Did the lineup today. I was writing it down in Pete's office. I said, so you're not going to bet the pitcher 8 today? And he just looked at me. And he goes, you know, I thought the same thing. You know, but people wonder about the pitcher batting 8th, how much of an effect it's had. Pete hasn't changed it because they've been successful, but it also coincides with Odubel moving to the leadoff spot. Before Odubel took over the leadoff spot, which, you know, he did most of last year, leadoff hitter was hitting under 200, the combined totals. Well, that's not the case anymore. There's a line drive base hit to left field. Goodell is around third, heading for home. Moya double clutches. The throw won't be in time. It's an RBI single, and it's 1-0 Phillies on top. So Goodell scores. Odubel's 2 for 2. Boy, it's a big outfield. Goodell took a real wide turn around third base.
He did. This is a very nice swing right here. Goodell, you can see the double hesitation right there. Makes a strong throw. That double little hesitation to get that ball to the glove cost him. Goodell picking up speed and does a nice slide late and takes it with his hand.
7th run of the year for Tyler Goodell. So he gives the Phillies a 1-0 lead. And Cesar Hernandez will bat. And time is called by James McCann.
You know, on a throw like that Odubel hits the ball that hard to left field and you know it's going to be a close play, you don't get angry if Odubel will decide to go to second base to make the third baseman cut the ball.
Yeah, he was sort of caught in between.
Yeah. Cabrera will not leave people at first base alone. Pelfrey just threw a pitch and Odubel was standing on first base.
I thought Miguel had his back to the plate too. Pitch is low, 2-0. Over to shortstop. This could be 2. Boy, a quick release by Iglesias, and they're able to turn the double play. And the side is retired 6-4-3. Second double play that Hernandez has hit into. Phillies, though, score a run on the base hit by Odubel Herrera. Your Delaware Valley Honda dealers. Heard of your local Del Val Honda dealer. Visit DelValHondaDealers.com. By WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. And buy your local Ford stores. Odubel Herrera is showing Juan Samuel a little bit of a pain in his back. He's had a little back issue over the last several days. He also got hit by a pitch in yesterday's ball game. He's stretching it out as Ian Kinsler leads it off here in the third. Phillies lead it 1-0. Kinsler struck out his first time up. Velasquez has 2 strikeouts so far. Always nice to get an out on 1 pitch.
Oh. Be better to get 2 outs on 2 pitches.
Which happened yesterday.
But you have to love early outs.
So this is in between innings. Odubel is telling Juan Samuel where it hurts. Right there. Sammy then told Scott Sheridan where it's bothering him. It's like the telephone game, Matt.
Then he goes down and tells Skip.
Right, and at that point, then it's his shoulder, not his back. Here's J.D. Martinez. He flied to right field his first time up. He flied out to the warning track. Boy, this is a small strike zone.
Great day to hit.
Another fly ball to right field. Borges will venture over toward the line. And there are 2 outs. 3 fly balls out to Borges here tonight. And Miguel Cabrera is coming up. All right, so this is where Vince got into a little bit of trouble in the first inning. He got the first 2 outs quickly and then walked Cabrera, allowed a single to Martinez, and walked Castellanos before getting Steven Moya on strikes. Part of it is the respect, I think, for Cabrera.
Yeah.
The pitches were just a hair off the plate.
Well, and Cabrera's been swinging the bat really well. His last 4 home runs he's hit 2 in the Ivy straightaway center and 2 to right field.
Out to right field. Borges going back. And this ball game is tied up at 1. 10th home run of the year for Miguel Cabrera. I guess the knee's not really bothering him too much.
No, and I guess I won't say that again during the at-bat.
Well, you're just letting everybody know that he was pretty hot.
Well, he is. He's swinging the bat very well. You can tell he hit this ball well. Does a nice pose to the TV, but when he's going well, he can do that very easily, hitting that ball to right field. Very strong, very powerful swing. And not a long swing, it's a short swing.
418 career home runs for Miguel Cabrera. And now Victor Martinez will come up. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Well, no shutouts for the Phillies. Yesterday they picked up their 7th shutout. It's remarkable that they have 7 shutouts already this year because they had 7 shutouts all of last year. It's just a totally different feel. The bullpen is better, particularly the back end. Mm-hmm. And the starters have been doing what the front office wanted, and that's go deep into games. Swing and a miss, 2-1. Think about it last year, Matt. Most of the times at this point in the year, we were talking about the average length of a starter was 5 1/3. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was at least the first couple months of the season. Now the Phillies starters have done much better than that this year, which doesn't put as much of a strain on the pen. Off speed pitch, 2-2. Now the Phillies last year at this point had a .389 winning percentage. And the winning percentage now is .568. 2-2 pitch, pulled foul. .389 winning percentage.
Well, I just like the fact that 1 through 5 can win a game for you. They can go deep in the game for you.
I would agree
They're
with
all
that.
capable, and you know, unfortunately, with Charlie Morton's injury, who I think was throwing the ball tremendous, the best he has done in years, it's nice to know that you have a rotation where you can send out your 1 through 5 guy and have a very good opportunity to win a game. And not disrespecting the guys they had last year, the year before, but you were hoping to get 5 innings out of guys last year. Now you expect to get guys 5, 6, 7 innings this year.
And by the way, that winning percentage was for the year for the Phillies, .389. .389 winning percentage, of course, the worst in the National League, finishing 27 games back. 2-2 pitch to Martinez in the dirt, 3-2. Castellanos waits on deck.
So this is a pitch right here where Vince, if he had the confidence, he threw it earlier, an 88-mile-an-hour changeup. If he has the confidence in throwing that pitch, what a great time to throw it right here. 3-2. You think you're going to get a heater. You have a good hitter in the Victor Martinez. Pull the string.
And a line drive base hit into right center field. He did throw the changeup. So base hit for Martinez, his second hit of the evening. Retro Phillies socks are free to all fans. Compliments of Sports for All. It's Sunday, June 5th, where the Phillies take on the Milwaukee Brewers. Tickets for that series against the Brewers can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. There are the retro socks. And here's Castellanos, who walked his first time up.
Now, that being said, with the changeup, I think it's a great call, a great pitch. If the ball is down in the zone where changeups are supposed to be, he's not going to be able to hit that hard line drive to right center. He's going to roll over and hit a ground ball to second base or first. Just what it does is sets up your next time you're going to face a Victor Martinez or another left-handed hitter where he knows you might throw a changeup in that situation. Now the hitter's wheels are spinning a little bit, thinking, now I got a fastball, curveball, and a changeup I have to protect from.
Yeah, I think your point of location, I mean, that was the key,
yes,
is where that pitch wound up going. Castellanos walked his first time up. He's had a decent homestand, 8 for 25. Tigers have talked about Castellanos being able to sustain what he's been able to accomplish these first 7 weeks of the season. And I think he's done a nice job doing that. He's hitting .315 here in the month of May. Now it's down from where he was in April, but still, it's nothing at all to sneeze about. And a high fly ball to deep left center field. And it is off the base of the wall. Martinez around third. He's being waved home. The throw to the plate by Galvis is up the line, and Cameron Rupp will tag him out. A fantastic relay by Odubel Herrera and Freddie Galvis, and the side is retired. 1 run on the home run by Miguel Cabrera. 1 man left. We'll go to the 4th, evened up at 1. anything else for your office needs, who are you going to go to? It's WB Mason. Go to WB Mason today and experience the difference. Nobody beats WB on HP. Maikel Franco will lead it off. He singled his first time up. Franco's 1 for 1. And he takes on the inside corner. Phillies have 5 hits. The Tigers have 5 hits. Well, Murph was talking earlier about the outfield play. And I know statistically the Phillies, with all their errors in the outfield, may not be considered on paper one of the best, as that one is golfed out to deep left field. Moya's going back, and it is gone. A home run for Maikel Franco. And the Phillies take a 2-1 lead. Boy, he went after the perfect pitch. And he just won $100 for Denise Nazy of Nazareth, Pennsylvania, in the McDonald's home run jackpot.
You know, even though he did pull this ball, he hit it to left center, which I'd like to see him. He stayed on that ball very nice. It was an off-speed pitch down the zone. Look how long the barrel stayed through the zone. That's so important for him.
So the Phillies get the lead right back here in the top of the 4th. Ryan Howard is the hitter. Howard flying out to center his first time up.
It's a split finger fastball. Stays on it. And I shouldn't say it's so important for him. It's so important for every hitter to stay through that ball as long as you can.
Howard is in the hole. No balls and 2 strikes. Ground ball right side. Iglesias, the shortstop, is up with it. And 1 away. And here comes Tommy Joseph, who grounded out his first time up. Well, Pete said before the ball game he was hoping that this series would get, this road trip would get Maikel Franco back going. And he was basing it on what he did yesterday, because he liked his at-bats yesterday. You know, there were a couple of bloops yesterday to the right side. Tommy Joseph pulls it foul over the head of Juan Samuel.
Yeah, I think if you look back at certain games, like yesterday he had a couple of bloop knocks, got some confidence, he averaged 1 up, got a couple of RBIs. His first at bat today was a fastball away off the plate. He stays on it, hits a line drive over the second baseman's head. Now all of a sudden the path of the bat is going through the zone so nicely, and for a long time you're staying on pitches, you're not pulling off. You know, it almost looked like the point where he hit that home run. He wanted to pull off a little bit, but he realized he had to stay on that ball a little longer, and that's the reason why he was able to elevate the ball into the University of Toledo up there in the bullpen.
0-2 pitch, and Joseph takes low, 1-2.
I mean, he just look how long he stays through the zone. I mean, that's what you call finishing high. The higher you finish with the swing, the longer your barrel will stay through the zone and give you a better opportunity to hit a pitch like that off speed.
Yeah, because if he was wailing like he was a couple weeks ago or last week, he would not have hit that ball.
No, he misses it by a mile, or he kills the worms in front of home plate and hits a chopper to third or shortstop.
2-2 to Tommy Joseph. And Joseph hits one out toward right center field. That's going to split the gap, and it's going to go all the way to the wall. And Tommy Joseph is going to stop at second base with a 1-out double, his first big league double. Now, Matt, you nodded as that ball was going out toward right center field. That's a pretty good piece of hitting right there by Tommy Joseph.
You're right, it is. It's a fastball inside, and watch how he tucks his hands in tight to his body. You know, Ben Davis always talks about keeping that back elbow tight to your body. Well, he does it right there. Perfect swing, head down. It almost looks like he gets jammed, but he doesn't. Drives that ball to a deep right center.
Yeah, that was not a cheapie right there.
No, it wasn't.
Cameron Rupp grounded out his first time up. Phillies trying to add to the lead. They lead it 2-1. Tommy Joseph will cross over to third. Put out goes 6-3. 2 outs and a runner at third base.
You know, that's where it comes back to. You talk about your keys to the game, about being patient versus Pelfrey. Just because he starts you out for the fastball, and that's back-to-back at bats with Cameron. First time was 1-0 fastball inside, he got jammed. This time it's a fastball inside, he got jammed. If you're looking for a pitch in there, you're not going to get jammed. He's just reacting because it's a fastball that's being thrown to him.
Galvis takes a fastball and it's 0-1.
If I'm looking fastball inside, first pitch, I'm either going to try to hit the Xfinity sign on the scoreboard or I'm going to hit the chair's foul because I want to get the barrel out.
So we get a miss, 0-2. Now, do you want them to be more patient with him?
I would love it. I mean, look, I said in the open, with the keys, the stats don't lie. There's a reason why the league's hitting 350 versus his fastball, and he's had, what, 8, 9 starts this year?
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why. It's because he is out over the plate a lot. He might paint you one time inside. A good chance the next pitch is going to be in the middle of the plate.
Galvis fouls it off, and it remains 0-2.
It's like right there. You had an elevated fastball. The pitch prior to that one, he swung through it. Now all of a sudden he comes back with an 0-2 pitch, and he pretty much splits the middle of the plate. You have to be patient with guys like that. Just because you see a fastball, you can't go, whoo, I'm going to hit this one a mile. If you don't swing at it, there's a good chance he can't control his off-speed pitches. You're going to get another fastball to hit.
Yeah, I think the patient part of it is important because this is a guy, you know, who threw 21 pitches in the first inning. And the Phillies have seen him enough. Now, his last 2 outings in 12 and 13 against the Phillies were good.
Right.
But this is a totally different team that he's facing now.
It is. And the report on Pelfrey is that usually in the 4th inning is where he ends up exploding and throwing a lot of extra pitches.
1-2 pitches grounded to first. Cabrera got his feet tangled up. And he beats Freddie Galvis to the bag, and the side is retired. Maikel Franco has given the Phils the lead with a solo home run, his 8th of the year. It's 2-1 Phillies as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Buy Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com to find your RAV4 today. Toyota, let's go places. Let's go Phils. Phillies lead it 2-1. This is a big ballpark. And not only with the playing field, as we talked about, but the concourses are huge. And instead of, Matt, you described it perfectly before the ballgame. Instead of the stadium kind of going up, it goes out and up. Steven Moya will lead it off for the Tigers, and Moya swings at the first pitch. It's 0-1. Omar Vizquel is, well, he's working on his batting practice motion over in the first base coach's box. Look how big it is. I mean, it is a vast place. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And it's a very quiet place.
Well, I was thinking that too in the first couple innings. I thought the same thing.
Now, when you're on deck, you can hear it. You can hear the crowd loud, you know, when they're hooping and hollering. But when you're on the field, it's tough to hear them.
Down the left field line, that'll go out of play, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Moya. The Phillies don't come here that often, obviously, because their interleague schedule does not take them to the American League Central that often. We were here a couple of years ago. That did not go well. Off the hands, out toward center field. It's a base hit for Moya. Just beyond the reach of Freddie Galvis. And a leadoff single. Time now for the cold hard facts. Here's Greg Murphy. Murph.
All right, thanks, Don. Brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. We're talking strikeouts. Vince Velasquez has 2 of them tonight. And how about this? Phillies most strikeouts per 9 innings in their first 8 starts of a season, going way back to 1918. Not surprising. Curt Schilling, top of that list, 13 strikeouts, averaging. Brandon Duckworth coming in at number 2 on that list. You see Vince Velasquez down there, averaging just under 11 strikeouts through his first 8 starts as a Philly, and at the start of the season as well. That is our Coors Light cold hard fact.
See Brandon Duckworth from time to time. He's scouting now for the New York Yankees. In fact, he was just at the ballpark the other day. Cameron Maybin singled his first time up. Fastball in the inside corner. It's 0-1. Tigers reacquired Cameron Maybin this past off season. They were looking for somebody to play center field. He was originally the property of the Tigers. He was then traded to the Marlins in the Miguel Cabrera trade. Oh, 0-2. Now that's a good spot for the changeup.
Not a lot you can do with a changeup or an off-speed pitch down in the zone. I'm going to say he missed his target right there by 4 feet.
You think so?
Cameron was almost standing up. He actually threw a really good 2-seamer that has that late run down and into the right-handers.
Inside, a bit inside, 2-2. Ball just tailed a little bit on Velasquez.
Yeah, the last couple have tailed on him. He's overthrowing a little bit. Hand not getting on top of that baseball, and that's what happens when you get underneath it. It sails into right-handers or away from left-handers. Again.
That one was a little closer. He's telling himself that, Matt, right now.
Yeah.
He wasn't asking the home plate umpire where that pitch was. He was just, I think it was just trying to get his mechanics straight.
Reminded him to get back on top of that baseball and throw it through the glove.
Runner goes, pitch is hit back toward the middle, over the second base bag. Moya is on his way to third. The throw by Odubel skips past Maikel Franco, and it wasn't backed up by Velasquez, so Maybin's able to go to second base. I think Odubel was trying too hard there. I think he should have just thrown that ball to second base because Moya was already going to. He was going to get to third. So it's going to be a single E8.
Yeah, Moya was already, what, 5-6 strides around. He's trying to keep it low, but unfortunately he threw it inside the infield, and not much you can do as a third baseman in that situation.
All right, well, now you got to play carefully here. I mean, if you allow the tying run to score, that's okay. If you can get it out and keep the runner at second base. The shame of it is he had Moya 2 strikes. He had Maben 2 strikes. Maben, though, is red hot. In the dirt, blocked by Rupp, 1 ball, no strikes. McCann has had a much better month of May than he had in April, even though he's hitting just a .155. He has some remarkable defensive statistics. He's played 135 games without making an error. He went through the entire year last year without committing an error behind the plate. He is the 6th catcher to catch 100 games or more in a season and not commit an error. Popped up. Tommy Joseph over toward the dugout and out of play. Nice play on the bounce by that guy.
Well, I will say one thing, that he won't get a lot of errors throwing to second base because he has a cannon and he controls the running game. Not a lot of people run against him. They call him Captain America. He's always clean shaved, you know, the hair never out of place.
Kind of like you and I.
Yeah, somewhat.
Over to third. Franco knocks it down, looks the runner back, and still has time. Ball was hit hard, but fortunately for the Phillies, it was right at the third baseman. Now the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Tampa and Miami are squaring off, and the Marlins lead at 5-3. Ichiro has 3 more hits. This is crazy what he's been able to do the last few days. You know, when they were in town, we were talking about him getting his 3,000th hit sometime next year. I don't know. I think you might have to change that calendar a little bit, particularly the way he's going.
Well, if he's going to get it this year, who are you going to decide to sit in the outfield?
Well, that's the thing. He's been playing a lot lately.
Yeah.
And now Rupp goes out to talk to Velasquez. Delivers a fastball at 96 for a strike. Iglesias flied out to left his first time up.
This is Ichiro's 41 hits away from 3,000.
41, I believe, is what it is now. Yes. So he has 9 hits in his last 3 games. A bit inside, moved him off the plate. 2-1.
Now that's a good pitch if you decide to come back in there again for a strike.
Down the right field line, foul.
And the reason why I say that is because the way the game's been playing the last 3 or 4 years or 5 years is that if the fastball's thrown inside, everyone thinks it's a setup pitch. Now I'm going to throw a breaking pitch away from the hitter, which everyone in the ballpark, or I should say all the hitters, know you're going to throw an off-speed pitch here. That's why it's so important to sometimes double up, come inside, move the feet, come inside again for a strike. Now the hitter doesn't lean over and pick the outside corner. He has to protect it on both sides.
Out towards shortstop on one hop. Moya doesn't go. That is the second time that we've seen that happen. In the last 2 starts for Velasquez, it was Derek Dietrich the last time. Look at Brad Ausmus. He's like, he's got to go. They're playing back. I asked Juan Samuel about it last time against the Marlins. I said, was that a mistake? He said, it was absolutely a mistake. He said, Galvis against the Marlins was going for the out. He was going to let the run score to get the out, and the base runner just froze. Now, to Moya's credit, that ball was smoked. Watch. He thinks maybe it's going to get caught. Amazing.
Well, and one of the worst things that a third base coach can tell you is freezing a line drive, you're going on the ball in the dirt, on the ground. That ball's a semi-line drive. It's the same situation second and third. Man at third.
Did the same thing.
Yep.
They danced off the third base bag. Wow.
I thought that one, his last start, was a worse read than that play.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Yeah, because this time, as we said, to Moya's credit, the ball was hit on the line and was closer to Freddie. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
You can see right there, it's close to being a line drive. Tough read. It's a lot easier watching it on TV and going, well, why didn't he go?
Well, that's true.
But when you're down there and you see that line drive going head high towards an infielder, you're taught to freeze. Nice play by Cameron.
Cameron Rupp smothers that one. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now we can ask later on, but do you think Freddie would have gone home on that?
I think with the hesitation, and then if you decide to go home, yes, he would have absolutely. But if he wouldn't have hesitated and he would have shot like a cannon, he probably would have went to first base.
2-2 pitch. And it's hit foul down the left field line. And out of play, and it remains 2-2. Well, it was a 30-pitch first inning. This is about to be at least a 25-pitch fourth inning. And he may not get himself through the 5th or past the 5th inning again. Fly ball center field. And he is, as long as Odubel Herrera makes this catch, he's going to get out of it here in the 4th inning. No runs, 2 hits. Maybe a base running mistake cost the Tigers a run. We'll go to the 5th. Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live at HD on over 400 supported devices. Visit MLB.tv for details. Tyler Goodell starts the top of the 5th by taking a strike. Goodell singled his last time up. He's hitting 5 straight. Phillies notes had an interesting line on Tyler Goodell, and until I saw it, I just didn't realize it. He has only struck out 3 times in 53 plate appearances. Now he may punch out here, who knows, but you know, that's saying something. Even though it's just been recently that he started to hit. He's hitting .276. Back toward the middle. Kinsler gets it, sliding grab, 1-hop throw, not in time. And Goodell is able to beat it, and he is 2 for 2.
2 for 2 with the exact same area that Ian Kinsler fielded the ball at second base. And the reason why he doesn't strike out a lot is because he does this. He puts the ball in play.
Yeah.
That's the key for him. That's a good play right there. And normal runners, you're going to be out at first base. That's such a great knock right there.
The Tigers were peeking at it to see if they should review it, but you see the replay, and it looked like he had beaten it, not with ease, but beat it. Here is Peter Borges with the runner at first. Borges fouls it back. It's 0-1. Phillies have 8 hits this evening.
It's amazing how a 10-game swing of how you start getting some times to play. You're getting some quality at bats. You're getting a lot of playing time. Goodell's hitting .286 now.
His average is at 159 when this stretch of games began. McCann goes diving, and he can't hang on. He's fortunate he didn't hurt his wrist. They call it a no play, which is the right call. He's really fortunate he didn't hurt his wrist on that. Ball sputters out.
Just as his wrist rolled a little bit, that's when the ball popped out. Tough air. Just kidding.
How did you make your first major league error? Well, I went diving for a foul ball. Or just fouls it again. This one into the Tigers dugout. Tigers coaching staff certainly has a Phillies flair to it. We showed you Rich Doobie, who is the pitching coach. Wally Joyner, former Phil's assistant hitting coach, is the hitting coach. David Newhan played for the Phillies, is the assistant hitting coach for the Tigers. Mick Billmeyer is entertaining the troops out in the bullpen as the bullpen coach.
One of the greatest guys.
Oh. He just makes you smile every time you see him. Swing and a miss. A high fastball. And one away. And Odubel Herrera's coming up.
Well, there's definitely no secret of how Pelfrey's going to pitch the right-handers today. He's been throwing the right-handers all in extremely hard. And Joseph almost got hit by a couple pitches. He's been pitched up and in. Franco was the only guy that they really haven't thrown inside to.
Little flip over to first. Why is that they're...
He feels comfortable throwing to that side of the plate. We've only seen a few fastballs inside the left-handers. With Herrera's 2 double play balls he's hit tonight, both of them were sinkers on the outside of the plate from a left-hander. See, the baseball just tails back in to the middle of the plate when he throws against the left-handers. So you had Cameron, who had 2 jam shots tonight. So he must be having some late movement. Plus his baseball is not down in the zone. His fastball is up in the zone a little bit. So up in the zone, having that late type of movement, that's the reason why you're seeing a lot of right-handers smother the baseball or they're getting jammed. Joseph really is the only guy that made the adjustment by keeping his hands in tight and drove that ball to right center.
Yeah, 10 ground ball outs right now for the Phils in this game. Odubel shows bunt, takes outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And that's where you hope that your teammates are talking on the bench. Asking them, hey, how's he pitching you the first time through? What'd you see the second time? Well, the same approach. Fastballs are up and in inside to the right-handers. The communication between the players is so important. Yes, you have your hitting coaches that help you out when you need it, but it's the players that really, really help guys through a game of situational hitting or how you're being pitched to. I got a call, Tom. Not a phone call. I got a home run call.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's seeing the ball very well right now.
You think it down the right field line?
Mm-hmm.
On the inside corner. Odubel asking the home plate umpire Mike DeMuro about that.
As he should, because that was a pitch that he threw his first at bat with 2 strikes, and he didn't call it a strike.
Yep.
Now you're getting into the 5th inning where the strike zone starts to open up a little bit. Ball stays inside corner, whatever. But as a hitter, that's where you say, well, you didn't call that in the first inning. That's where Mike Namuro's strike zone opens up later in the game.
2-2 pitch to Odubel inside. Too far this time. 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Goodell at first. You going to get him rolling off first base?
This is definitely got to be a run and hit right here. It's not a hit and run, it's a run and hit. You're trying to steal the bag. And as a hitter, you don't have to protect him. If it's borderline, you take it. I shouldn't say. If it's borderline, you try to foul it off. But it's not a hit and run situation.
Goodell does take off, and the pitch fouled off. These are part of the things the Phillies need to do in order to be successful, and that they have done. He has seen 22 pitches in his at-bats. This will be the 23rd. It's an average of 7 pitches per AB. He was going through a few games where he wasn't taking a lot of pitches, and now all of a sudden he's back fouling them off and taking them. Goodell goes again. The pitch is lined sharply into right center field. Goodell on his way to third, and he will hold up there. And Odubel Herrera has another 3-hit game. Now the Phillies have first and third with 1 man down. It's his 5th 3-hit game of the year.
Well, he didn't hit a home run, but I absolutely love this swing. It's an off-speed pitch. Look at that little hesitation. He gets his foot down. That tremendous little bat flip. I absolutely love it. Asked me that 10 years ago. I would have hated it.
Yeah, you would have. Yes, you would have.
And the key right there is getting the runners in motion. And now you got a first and third situation.
All right, so he has reached base safely in 7 of his last 8 at-bats. Now, the only time he didn't was that line drive back at Ian Kroll's head yesterday, which was probably the best swing he had all day. Cesar is hit into 2 double plays. One that was started by Kinsler, the other one that started by Iglesias. Miguel Cabrera, I think, is telling Mike Pelfrey, hey, listen, let's worry about the batter here. You think Sammy's giving him the take sign on this first pitch?
No chance. Cesar sees a fastball, he's going to come out of his shoes. This is hopefully he comes out of his shoes and he elevates a little bit and gets in the outfield.
And he does get it to the outfield out towards center. Maben makes the catch. Goodell tags. The throw is cut off by Cabrera. It's 3-1. Phillies on top. It's a sacrifice fly for Cesar Hernandez. Well, that's a nice RBI to enjoy on his birthday. And the Phil's up by a 3-1 margin.
And what I like about that situation right there, that play, you have first and third. Anything in the air, you're going to tag. Anything on the ground, of course, you're going on contact. Goodell didn't even hesitate. As soon as that ball left the barrel, he went back to third base, tagged up with no hesitation. And yes, it's something small, but sometimes guys will get up there, they'll freeze, then they'll go back and tag, and it's all in a rush. But he did it perfectly. He read it, went back, tagged, scored very easily.
Well, he has scored 2 runs, 2 of the 3 runs for the Phillies in this ballgame. Michael Franco has 2 of the hits. He homered his last time. By the way, with the 3 hits tonight, Odubel Herrera has brought his average back close to 340. It's at 338 as he inches off the first base bag. Ball's rolled out to shortstop. Iglesias flips underhand. Side is retired, but the Phils tack on another one. They get it on a sac fly by Cesar Hernandez after Odubel's single put Goodell over to third. Report. Rhys Hoskins, the player of the week for the Reading Fightin'. 6 games, 450 average, 4 RBIs. Zach Eflin is the co-pitcher of the week, along with Nick Pivetta. Pivetta won 7. Eflin won 7. They both struck out 6. Both of those guys acquired in trades by the Phillies. Pivetta was acquired in the Papelbon deal. We start the bottom of the 5th inning. J.D. Martinez leads it off. Swing and a miss. It's 0-1. Hey, what are you doing over there, Matt Stairs?
I'm just helping the truck out.
Are you?
Yep.
You squaring up the shot, the booth shot?
It's square, all right.
Yeah, it is. That one's pulled foul. And it's 0-2. So it's hard for you to explain to people what you were doing, but
well, I can, but I'll block him out because I'm coming in here trying to fix the camera to try to make us look pretty.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
Will not work. And we get the nice, beautiful curtain behind us.
Yep.
And we're kind of locked in here.
We are locked in. The only way to get out is to go out through the window.
And this is how
our
we
stage manager. That's how we get our drop-ins. All of a sudden, a hand starts to appear from behind and gives us the iPad. That ball is smoked deep to right field. That'll be another home run for the Tigers. And it makes it a 3-2 ball game here in the 5th inning. J.D. Martinez's 10th home run of the year. The important thing, though, is that both of these home runs, Cabrera's and now J.D. Martinez, they're both solo shots. And the Phillies will maintain the lead. That's a poke out there.
Well, it is, and these guys are hitting the ball to right field, making this ballpark look small out there.
Well, Cabrera has walked, and he is also homered. Phillies do have bullpen action starting to stir. First pitch is a bit high. J.D. Martinez has not had a great homestand.
You know, we see this pitch right here, but again, has that pitch been set up by enough fastballs being thrown inside to right-handers? And that's what I was talking about as one of the keys of the game today was make them choose. Am I going to hit the inside fastball or am I going to hit the outside fastball? Because you can't do both. You can't guard inside and react to a fastball inside if you're sitting on something away. That's why I just think that the game has changed a little bit over the last few years, where you don't see enough fastballs inside the hitters to set up your second and the third pitch.
That ball is smoked deep to left field. Another home run for Cabrera, and this ball game is tied up at 3. Back to back with JD Martinez. He has 2 homers tonight. And it's 3 solo shots for the Tigers. That was a ball that was just hung up in the strike zone. And he's not going to miss those that often. And here comes Pete Mackanin.
Yeah, you're right. Good hitters do not miss these pitches, especially when you're swinging the bat extremely well. That's just a little hanging curveball. Good shift of the weight. Showing his power to right field. His last home run, this time to left field in that one.
So Velasquez's night is done. Pete's go to the bullpen and bring it in Colton Murray. We're tied up at 3 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. We've got a pitching change. Coca-Colas for $100. It's all part of the Phillies family pack. It's available for select home weekend games. For more information and to order, visit the ticket section at Phillies.com. Well, in a blink of an eye, we're tied up at 3. Back-to-back home runs by JD Martinez and Miguel Cabrera. Cabrera now has 3 multi-home run games this year, 36 for his career. Colton Murray is into his 8th ball game, and he will face Victor Martinez, Castellanos, and Steven Moya with nobody out and 2 runs across. Well, these are back-to-back games now that Vince was not able to get past the 5th inning. In fact, he didn't even get through the 5th inning here. You look at that home run by Miguel Cabrera. That would have been a home run the first couple of years in this ballpark when they did not move the fences in. But that's a shot. I mean, that didn't just barely get out. But it was about 5 rows up. So you could say that it would have just barely gotten out of the old dimensions. That's the fence that used to be the home run wall. They moved it in.
And yes, Cabrera hit that ball well, but he actually missed that ball. He didn't get underneath it a lot.
Outside 2-0. Fences were moved in 25 feet in 2003. And they moved the bullpens from right field, right center field, to left field. Another one misses outside. 3-0. Victor Martinez this year hitting .667 in interleague games. Tigers actually have the second best record in baseball in interleague games. Swinging 3-0. Tommy Joseph makes the diving stab, and he flips to Colton Murray covering, one away. And by the way, his actions over at first base these last couple of games, they have nothing to sneeze about. He's moving pretty well over at first base.
Yeah, he's getting tremendous jumps, making the play, getting the ball out of his glove early. I mean, this is a good player right here. This ball's hit hard. One step to his right. The key is to get that ball out of the glove a little quicker right there, show it to the pitcher, and then give him a good feed.
Yeah, one thing that Tommy said is that he's been working with Larry Boa over at first base on getting his footwork together, and they worked a lot, Murph, down in the minor leagues with him with his footwork at first base.
Yeah, and it's looked pretty good so far up here in the big leagues. I asked him today how he was feeling, comfort-wise down there at first base. He said, I felt pretty good. He said, but I will tell you this. He said, I went out this morning or the early afternoon and took some ground balls on the field here at Comerica, and he said, man, oh man, it is a fast infield. He said, I'm going to have to be ready for balls, compared to Citizens Bank Park, which is a little bit slower of an infield. He said it really made a difference. So he was going to be prepared that the balls were going to get on him quickly. He said he was ready for it and looking forward to it, but certainly different than what he's been used to early on in his big league career.
Well, that's kind of a good point. I mean, these are all new facilities for him, so he's going to have to get used to them, just like an outfielder gets used to the outfield walls in all these ballparks. He certainly has a first baseman's mitt that looks like it's been worn in for a few years. Out of play, 2 balls and 1 strike. Castellanos taking a look down at Dave Clark in the third base coach's box. A high fly ball deep to left field. Goodell is back, and that one is gone. Another solo home run. That's 4 solo home runs tonight for the Tigers, and they take a 4-3 lead. 3rd home run of this inning. And the 9th home run for Castellanos.
Another hanging curveball. That one there did not move. You talked about it, Tom, earlier, how hot the Tigers hitters are. It's amazing when you make a mistake to hot hitters that do not miss. Now, a week ago, they probably would have popped those balls up.
That's very true, because they had gone through a 12-game stretch where they were 1-11. Well, they told us that the ball was flying out of this ballpark. And it's hard to imagine just because it's such a big park, but the ball is flying out of this ballpark.
Well, I think it shows how the ball carries in this ballpark, considering you got right-handers hitting the ball to right field with ease for home runs.
Yeah, 380 feet on average, distance-wise. He got it into the hands of Moya. Cameron Rupp will give that one a look, but it's out of play off the dugout roof. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That is now 60 home runs for the Tigers this season. And for Colton Murray, it's the first earned run that he's allowed since coming up from the minor leagues. Got him. And Moya is struck out. 2 outs here in the 5th. And here's Maven, who's 2 for 2. Maybe singled up the middle his first time up and singled up the middle his last time. He and Miguel Cabrera were the co-players of the week in the American League.
Maben has like a little different swing. It's like an off balance, steps in the bucket type of swing, but he still keeps that barrel through the zone nicely.
Fly ball right field. That's well hit. Borges going back. He's going to have room, and he makes the catch right up against the wall. And the side is retired. That's not a home run hitter right there, and that ball went all the way to the wall. That's a home run hitter. He has 2 tonight. Tigers take a 4-3 lead as we go to the top of the 6th inning. Philly of the week is showing how value can be found in the Rule 5 drafts. Tyler Goodell struggled to start the season, but during the last 2 weeks has found his swing. And because of its finding his name in Pete Maccannon's lineup on a more frequent basis. In addition to his offense, he has handled his outfield duties well, including his perfect throw from left field when he connected with Cameron Rupp on this game-ending play, capturing another Phillies win. This California kid is starting to shine, and it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, he's continued that tonight. He has 2 hits. He scored 2 runs. That guy, though, has 2 home runs. 1 to right field, 1 to left field. Ryan Howard will lead it off for the Phillies here in the 6th. And Howard grounds the first pitch foul. It's 0-1. Phillies have 9 hits tonight. And they've scored 3 runs. They had a 3-1 lead, but then 3 solo shots. Castellanos with one of them. He's walking around out in shallow right field, playing second base, basically. I don't know what that was. That was a 70-mile-an-hour eephus pitch almost. There it was again. He keeps throwing those. He's going to be fortunate to get away with it because they're just swimming up in the zone. He got him. 93 on that fastball. Ryan is now 0 for his last 17. See what it's like to fire the Fanatics hot dog cannon. CSN's Marshall Harris lives the dream on an all-new Phillies clubhouse tonight at 11 right here on CSN. Tommy Joseph doubled his last time. He swings through that breaking pitch. It's slider, and it's 0-1. Pelfrey has had 4 outings this year where he's allowed 5 runs or more. In fact, in his last 2 starts coming into this one, he had allowed 4 earned runs in 10 2/3.
And the reason why is because you cannot repeat his delivery every time. He'll throw that slider right there and miss it by 10, 12 inches off the plate. And then he'll come back and he'll hit the corner. And then he'll miss again. It's just inconsistent with his delivery and the way the ball comes out of his hand.
Yes, his losing streak is 8. Joseph fouls the 94-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's 2-2. Joseph doubled his last time up.
And again, that last pitch right there has been Pelfrey's best pitch of the night. It's the running 2-seam fastball that tails in towards the right-handers.
That one is drilled deep to left field. Going back on it is Moya. It is gone. A home run for Tommy Joseph, and we have tied this ball game up at 4.
Told you he should have stuck with the sinker.
Tommy Joseph is 2 for 3, 2 extra base hits. It's his 2nd major league home run.
Well, I think it's safe to say that we've seen a display today of if you miss your spot, it's going to be a home run.
That's exactly right. Pelfrey not pleased with himself.
Well, you shouldn't. I mean, you've been throwing that 2-seamer into right-handers. Guarantee here comes a 2-seamer right here. That's been his best pitch the whole day.
Says a lot that a 2-seamer can run 94 miles an hour. Cameron is 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice. Each team with 10 hits. Bullpen action for the Tigers. Two balls, 1 strike to Rupp. Opposite way, base hit for Cameron Rupp. Cameron spun his wheels a little bit getting out of the box, so he'll hold up at first base. Phillies now with the 11 hits. Now it's that 6th inning again. That seems to be problematic for Mike Pelfrey. Gene Lamont checking to see if the right-hander was warmed up and ready to go.
That's making a good adjustment right there. Keeping those hands tight inside the body, getting through that zone, keeping the barrel through there, and driving it to right field.
Rich Doobie coming out to talk to Pelfrey. I thought maybe Brad Ausmus would make a change here, but he's decided to stay with him. And here's Freddie Galvis. Boy, it would be nice to retake the lead here in the 6th inning. There's a left-hander that joined Soppold in the bullpen, and that's Kyle Ryan. Freddie singled his first time up, grounded out his last time. Fly ball right field. JD Martinez comes sprinting in. 2 outs. And Tyler Goodell is coming up. Tyler is 2 for 2.
You know, this isn't a bad swing, but you can see that Freddie puts majority of his weight on the backside of his when he's hitting to start with. So all of a sudden, as the pitch comes in, he really doesn't have that separation of having that weight shift because it's already on the back side. I'd like to see him get a little bit more on the front side, have that little rocking back to get that load position. That helps your swing go through the zone. And what causes with Freddie right now is that all the weight is on the back side. It's that in-out swing. It's in the zone and out of the zone very quick is the reason why he hits a lot of fly balls. You try to say, as a hitter, 60-40, 60% of your weight on your backside, 40% on your front side, and then you end up shifting. It's about 70-30 or 85-15, whatever. I'm not really sure where those numbers came from because I'm not sure who knows 15% of the weights on your backside, your front side.
I'm with you on that.
But it's a comfort zone.
No balls and 2 strikes to Goodell with a runner at first base. And he fouls it back behind home plate. Tyler has 2 singles up the middle. Kinsler is shaded that way, the second baseman. And he got him. I mentioned Tyler Goodell doesn't strike out all that often. Well, he strikes out there, and that finishes up the 6th inning. However, the Phillies tie it up on the home run by Tommy Joseph. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th. It's a 4-4 game. Brought to you by the Pennsylvania Lottery's new instant game, Pennsylvania Millions. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. By Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. 4-4 ball game here in Detroit. Mike Pelfrey looks like he is done. He actually had a conversation with Rich Doobie in between innings, and he was not pleased at the offering that he gave to Tommy Joseph that resulted in the home run. So we are even at 4 as we start the bottom of the 6th inning. James McCann will be the batter. McCann hits it the opposite way, right at Borges, and he makes he almost dropped it. He makes the catch, the one-handed grab. Yeah, there's one away. And here comes Jose Iglesias. Iglesias 0 for 2. He's fly to left. He's also grounded out to shortstop. These are big innings for Colton Murray to try to get this game to the back end and keep it tied. even though camera rough dropped the ball. It is a strike. And it's no balls and 2 strikes. Iglesias didn't think so. A high chopper out to shortstop. Freddie Galvis cuts it off. And there's one away. That aggressiveness by Galvis is what we've seen this entire year. In fact, there was this article called Little Things by the Hardball Times that talks about defense. And the Phillies have 43 defensive giveaways this year. See how aggressive he was? Now that's good. Defensive giveaways, as defined by Hardball Times, are errors, poor plays, which is subjective, fielder choices without outs, and pass balls. The Phillies have 43 so far this year, which is second best in all of baseball. Now that's sort of a sabermetric way of looking at whether you're playing solid defense or not. It was explained to Pete today what it was. He said, "That's good, right?" And he was told, "Yes, that's good." And he said,
I would ask the exact same question.
Yeah, it's tough to decipher in a lot of ways, but basically what it's saying is that the Phillies defense, and it's been anchored on the infield by Galvis at shortstop and Hernandez at second base. The Phillies defense has been outstanding on the infield. And also the catchers. The catchers only have 2 pass balls this year. Quite frankly, one of them probably shouldn't have been a pass ball that was charged to Carlos Ruiz. It was while you were away. It was a fastball that zipped right past his head that looked like it was more of a wild pitch. Diving stop by Kel Franco. Quickly to his feet, zips the ball across the diamond in time to get Ian Kinsler. And the side is retired. Nothing across for the Tigers. We have completed 6 innings. Yeah, the defense has picked up this year. Maikel Franco sprawling to make that play. We'll head to the 7th. Time now for your Delaware Valley Honda dealers game summary. Yeah, the ball's been flying out of Comerica Park here tonight. We're tied up at 4 home runs for the Tigers. All 4 of their runs have been from the solo home run. Vince Velasquez goes 4+, allows 9 hits and 4 runs. Mike Pelfrey goes 6 innings, and now Justin Wilson will take over as we go to the 7th. Wilson will face Peter Borges, Odubel Herrera, and Cesar Hernandez. Borges is 0 for 2. He's grounded out. And he struck out his last time. Justin Wilson had a great year last year pitching for the New York Yankees. He was 5-0 with a 3.10 ERA. He only allowed 49 hits in 61 innings of work. Over to third base. Castellanos boots it. It spins right out of his glove. And Borges is too fast, so he's going to be safe at first. It'll be an E5. Right now the top of the order's coming up. Time now for the Jeep Stuff the Fans Trivia Quiz answer. All right, here we go, Matt. Who was the last Tiger before Miguel Cabrera in 2012 and 13 to win the American League MVP?
It'd have to be Justin Verlander.
Justin Verlander is correct. 2011. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. It's not often that a pitcher wins the MVP award, but Verlander in 2011 was pretty dominant. Swing and a miss by Odubel. Pulled himself right out of the box. It's 0-1. Speaking of Justin Verlander, the Phillies will see Verlander tomorrow. Back in 2011, he was 24-5 with an ERA of 2.40. But he also struck out 250. Struck out 250 in 251 innings. Borges able to get back pretty easily. There is Justin Verlander sitting next to Pelfrey. He thought it was outside.
No, he thought it was a balk. He didn't think he stopped.
Oh. He's just helping people out.
Well, Wilson's very quick. He has that little that quick leg kick, and he short arms it. And for a guy with Odubel who has the different type of stance, you need to start now. Okay, that would have been a little too early. I mean, Wilson has a good arm. He'll top out at 96. To me, I think his best pitch is his cutter, his cut fastball. He throws that between 87 and 91.
That ball gets away from McCann, and Borges will get to second base. Boy, that's a big wild pitch to put a runner in scoring position with nobody out. And now Odubel's job is to move the runner over.
Yeah, not much chance right here. That's a spiked heater. Borges recognizing the ball in the dirt right away and took off.
David Hernandez is warming up in the bullpen.
Now we'll see if Herrera gets a little better read on Wilson's leg kick. Since there is a runner at second base, is he going to be as quick to home plate, or is he going to be a little slower, which would be easier for Herrera to read it?
He just got a piece of it.
Which I always found interesting for a left-handed pitcher who slide steps, has a quick arm, has a powerful arm, throws 95, 96. Ball gets on the left-handed hitters very quick, or a right-hander. Why change when there's a guy on second base? Still do your slide step. You're trying to throw off the hitters. And now he's going with that big leg kick. Now as a hitter, you can time that a lot better. I understand they want to, sit there and they want to relax and make a quality pitch, but by seeing the first two pitches that he threw to Odubel Herrera with Borges at first base, I mean, they were nasty. They were low and away.
They were.
And he couldn't get his timing. You could tell he was frustrated because he couldn't get his timing down. So why change now?
Still ahead, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tapper back toward the mound. Wilson looks Borges back to first, and then flips to, or looks Borges back to second, and then flips awkwardly to first. Now there's one away. Could he have gone to third there, Matt, you think?
No, I don't think he could have went to third, but I think if Herrera would have get down the line a little quicker, might have been a little closer play at first base.
That's a good call. I was looking at Borges.
No, Borges did the right thing, and there's no way he could have made it. But right here, he kind of alligator armed to throw.
He can't take the play off.
No.
And he knows that. Pete's his book of fines might get a little thicker. Cesar Hernandez asked for time. Cesar's 0 for 2. Sac fly is last time up.
And that last pitch, Wilson went to that slide step.
He did.
And you can see the type of swing Herrera had versus the slide step.
Cesar turned 26 years old today. There's Odubel stewing about the little tapper back to the box. Cesar just asked if that pitch was low. I don't know if he asked if that pitch was low. I think he just said the pitch was low. He shares a birthday today with Kyle Bearclaw, Mike Dunn, both of the Marlins, Ryan Zimmerman. And Cesar strikes out. That was just a 96-mile-an-hour heater that was right down the chute. And there are 2 outs. Maikel Franco is coming up. Brad Ausmus is going to stay with Wilson. And it's partly because they're going to walk him intentionally to face Ryan Howard. So McCann will reach out. This will put runners on first and second for Howard, who was mired in an 0 for 17 slump. To say he is due is an understatement. He is 0 for his last 17, 1 for his last 19. He hasn't hit a single since the 29th of April. You think about that, Matt. He has 4 hits since the 29th of April. And they're all extra base hits, 3 home runs and a double. He has not had a single since April 29th.
Yeah, I would say he's due for. Didn't he have a check swing knock this year in Milwaukee?
He has had that. Yeah.
The single down the left field. I'd take that right now.
Yeah, they don't have the drastic overshift on, so that means that Iglesias, the shortstop, is still on his side of the diamond with runners on first and second. Howard waves at a fastball, and it's 0-1. Ryan 2 for 14 against left-handed pitching. He's just powering fastballs by him. 96 and 97 on the first two. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got it with a high heater. The side is retired. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Wilson. He leaves a couple, including 1 in scoring position. Time to stretch here at Comerica Park. Phils and Tigers tied at 4. Comerica Park. Colton Murray is still tossing out on the mound for the Phillies. The Xfinity Fireworks Show is coming up on Friday, July 1st and Saturday, July 2nd after the games against the Kansas City Royals. It's all part of that 3-game series against the defending world champions. Make plans now. Order your tickets by going to Phillies.com. Phillies have made some changes. Tyler Goodell remains in left field. Peter Borges, though, moves from right field to center field, and David Lowe will take over in right field. Pete Mackanin immediately went over to Odubel Herrera. There's Lowe. After he tapped back to the mound, it didn't run. And he said something to him. This is Odubel, just taps it back to the mound and then shuts it down. And possibly could have been safe if he had run the whole way, because Wilson was having trouble getting the ball out of his glove. Now, I'm not sure if that's why Pete went over to him and said, "You're out of the game." I would think it is, because he's not gonna let you play lackadaisically. He's just not going to. JD Martinez homered his last time up. Try to check his swing. He went around, says Mike DeMuro. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You know, and if that's the case where he went over and said, "Listen, you're done. You know, you're benched, whatever. You're fined the 50 cents or $499, whatever you want to fine him." Hats off to Skip for doing that. Ball players can control one thing in baseball. That's running the bases hard.
Absolutely, and particularly him, because the reason he's here and the reason he's played so well is that he's played with constant energy.
Yeah.
Fly ball left field. Tyler Goodell. That ball is way up there. Goodell makes the catch. Yeah, there's one out. And again, we're speculating. We don't know if that's what it was. It seems like that's what it was. But it's a message that Pete's sending because, let's face it, he's your best offensive player, batting average wise. And you're tied 4-4. Cabrera has 2 home runs in this ball game. And he lines that one out toward right center field. It's going to split the gap and go to the scoreboard. He'll get to second base and he'll lock down there. This is not a good sign that the Phillies are seeing Miguel Cabrera when he's the hottest. That is his 500th career double. 500 career doubles for Miguel Cabrera.
I mean, just such an easy swing. Foot down, nice easy timing. He never overswings.
He's racking up some pretty good individual totals during the course of his career. 2,385 hits. I don't know if he'll hit 3,000, but he's going to get awfully close to it. He is the 62nd player in baseball history to reach 500 doubles. That ball goes right between the legs of Cameron Rupp. And Cabrera moves over to third.
Just didn't get down in time. Now you have a little advantage right now with Cabrera at third base. Doesn't have that great speed. You can play your infield a little farther back instead of right up on the grass because Victor Martinez hits the ball hard. Still have a good chance to throw him out at home plate.
And a looper into right field, a base hit. Cabrera will score, and the Tigers take the lead. It's 5-4 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And that's his 3rd hit of the day. Bob McClure will head out to the mound. Phillies did have David Hernandez warming up in the bullpen. Now it's Andrew Bailey that starts to warm up in the bullpen. Got to stop it right here and give your offense a chance. It's only a 1-run game here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Three, 4, 5 hitters tonight. 8 for 9.
Jeez. Yeah, the only out is the ground ball by Martinez that Tommy Joseph made the diving stop on.
On a 3-0 pitch. You know, and if you go into further detail with the Tigers hitters, you know, starting with the 1 through 5 hitters, they're almost all the exact same type of hitters. They all have good power to right field, good pull power, stay up the middle a lot.
That ball is hit well out toward right center, playable for low. And he makes the catch. Yeah, we asked Pete today if this is the most balanced lineup that the Phillies have faced. And he said, well, they don't run well. He said, but overall, yes, I would have to say they're the most balanced lineup.
Well, yeah, they don't run well, but I think with their offense, with the home runs, the doubles, the averages, they don't need to run well. And that's not saying that the bottom of the order doesn't run well. Maben runs well still. Iglesias runs well. Ian Kinsler, he's don't sleep on him. He can steal some bases as well.
Moya fouls it back. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Phillies will have Tommy Joseph, Cameron Rupp, Freddie Galvis up. Yeah, they're half of the 8th inning.
I'd like to know how big that bat is. Moya swings. What'd you say? 6'9"?
6'7".
6'7".
Down the left field line. Here comes Goodell into foul territory. Makes the grab. Yeah, that'll do it for the Tigers here in the home 7th. But they do retake the lead on an RBI single by Victor Martinez. We'll move to the top of the 8th inning. It's 5-4. Tigers on top. Morning with a hot or ice McCafe coffee, now starting at just $1. Buy Toyota. Get a great deal on your favorite Toyota during the Toyota Time Sales Event. Toyota, let's go places. And buy Jefferson. Call 800-JEFF now or visit jefferson.edu. 5-4 Tigers as we go to the top of the 8th inning. Time now for our Hyundai defensive play of the game. This was a fantastic play by Mike Franco.
Very nice play back in the 6th inning. Ian Kinsler hits an absolute rocket to the hot corner. Nice play, gets up, makes a strong throw to Joseph at first base. That is your Hyundai defensive play of the game, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers.
Mike Aviles will take over in left field for Moya. And Mark Lowe will be the new pitcher for the Tigers. As we go to the 8th inning, so Lowe will try to set up for Francisco Rodriguez. This is the 19th game for Lowe. Tommy Joseph takes a strike, and it's 0-1. You were right about the strike zone, Matt. What you said, your assessment. And Mike DeMuro's been fine, but you said that the strike zone would be expanded as the night went on. It definitely is expanded.
It has. And that's just by experience of knowing and having him behind home plate many games when I've been hitting. Back in the 6th inning, he did not miss that hanging breaking pitch. Second big league home run. At that time, tied the game up at 4s.
0-2 pitch to him here. And he went around on that breaking ball. That was a nasty breaking pitch by Lowe. And there's one out. Let's get updated on what's going on around baseball with Greg Murphy. Murph.
All right, thanks very much, Tom. It's our greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. More injury woes for the world champs. The Royals placing outfielder Alex Gordon on the 15-day disabled list. He has a fractured wrist. Now, he injured that while colliding with his teammate Mike Moustakas, who was also scratched from the lineup tonight. He is listed as day-to-day. They do expect Alex Gordon, though, to miss a couple of weeks with that fractured wrist. And speaking of missing some time, the New York Mets are going to miss a big hole in the middle of their lineup. Lucas Duda had an MRI over the weekend, and he has a stress fracture in his back, and that is not good news for him. They expect that he will miss weeks, maybe even months, before he will be able to come back to that New York Mets lineup. So not good news for a big power bat in the Mets lineup, guys. Cameron Rupp rips one into left field for a base hit. So a 1-out single. That's the second hit of the day for Cameron Rupp. Boy, you know, it's funny, they took him out of the lineup the other day just thinking it was back stiffness. But that's a similar injury that David Wright had. And Wright missed a good part of the season because of it. But Murph's right, that's a pretty big bat to take out of that Mets lineup. Galvis is 1 for 3. He singled. He also grounded out and flied out to right. And a chopper fielded by Cabrera, slings it to second for one, quickly to first, in time to get Galvis, and he had to move out of the way of Mark Lowe, stumbled to the ground. Mickey Moraditti said check that one right away, so that's what Pete Buchanan's going to do.
It's a strong throw right there. Mickey getting back. That's going to be awful close.
It's really close. You know, the leap toward the bag, which we've talked about before, may have slowed Galvis up a little bit, but they are going to review it. Look at Lowe trying to get out of the way, literally trying to get out of the way. Yeah, it looks like his foot's on the bag,
yeah,
Matt.
It does.
Before the ball's in the glove, but it is really close.
How about how strong the throw was from shortstop?
Yes.
Off balance.
Off balance. Because Rupp was coming after him. Right there, looks like Galvis's foot is on the bag. All right, now the other thing is that Brian Gorman is talking to Brad Ausmus about the play at second base. If Cameron Rupp did everything he was supposed to do with his slide at second base.
So this is what the delay is right now to see if the slide is fair? I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Because Cameron, did he go after the base, the fielder or the bag? I think he was okay.
Yeah, that's a great slide.
Yeah, but I think that's what they were talking to Brad Ausmus about.
Yeah.
Do you want us to review that as well? Which I'm surprised that they would go over and initiate that and not have Ausmus initiate it. All right, we've looked at it a couple of times. It does look like Freddie Galvis is safe at first, but we'll see if there's enough evidence to overturn it. And he is safe. That was quick. I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but ever since the 5-minute and 1 second replay in St. Louis, all of the reviews have been quick that we've seen.
But that hasn't been the longest replay this year, has it?
5:01?
Yeah. I thought there was an 8-minute one.
Boy, you know what? That's a good question. I thought 5:01 was the longest, but you could be right.
Maybe I'm thinking hockey.
I thought they did it right in hockey. Goodell today is 2 for 3. Andres Blanco has come out in the on-deck circle to pinch hit. Ball gets away, and Galvis will go to second base. That'll be the second wild pitch of the night for the Tigers. Took something off it, and it floats over for a strike, 1-1.
Yeah, Lowe's basically a two-pitch pitcher. He's a fastball slider guy. He's not overpowering. You have to remind yourself to stay back because he tops out about 91 miles an hour, but he loves throwing that little slider.
One ball and 2 strikes to Goodell. One ball, 2 strikes to Goodell. Outside, 2-2. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Mets and the Nationals are playing down in D.C. and the Mets lead at 7-1. David Wright, a 3-run home run.
Look how wide open that hole is at second base. Kinsler holding Freddie at second base, a little close.
Swing and a miss. He got him. Second time tonight that Goodell has struck out. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left in scoring position. We have played 7.5. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th, and the Tigers lead at 5-4. Back at home at Citizens Bank Park beginning Monday, June 6th. It's a 3-game series that wraps up on the 8th. It's Citizens Bank Business Person Special. Plan now for the only visit of the year by the Chicago Cubs. Get your tickets by going to Phillies.com. Bottom of the 8th inning, the Phillies will turn things over to Andrew Bailey. Bailey in his 12th ball game, a 3.60 ERA. Tigers have Francisco Rodriguez warming up in the bullpen. Bailey will face Cameron Maybin, James McCann, and Jose Iglesias. Phillies got 4+ from Velasquez. Colton Murray just pitched just pitched 3 innings and allowed 2 runs. One ball, 1 strike to Maybin, who's 2 for 3 this evening. Popped up foul back behind home plate. Headed to the upper deck, and then look out below. The count is evened up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Phillies bullpen is currently 7th in the National League in ERA at 3.84. Pretty good breaking pitch. Shallow right field, David Lowe. And 1 out here in the 8th inning. Every time the Phillies pitchers retire, the opposition 1, 2, 3. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. There is Francisco Rodriguez, who just keeps on pitching. McCann shows bunt, takes inside, 1 ball, no strikes.
You think you might see that more often from McCann. He's struggling offensively this year. He is hitting better in May, but third basemen play way back on him all the time. Get yourself a couple of knocks that way. It's a lot better looking at that scoreboard, seeing that 148 become a 156, then a 172, and eventually you get to the Mendoza line at 200. Who, by the way, was a teammate of mine.
Probably didn't like the Mendoza line, even because he hit over 200. He did?
He loved it. To have a name because he stinks hitting wise, but he loved it.
But he still hit over 200 for his career. 2 balls and 1 strike to McCann. McCann was bothered by a bad ankle, which is part of the reason why they felt like he had offensive issues. But these at-bats are piling up. It's going to be difficult for him to resurrect his 148 batting average at this point in the season. Two and 2. Curveball. He may have broken his bat on that one. And that he did, so he'll get a new piece of lumber. A reminder, we'll be back tomorrow at 7 o'clock. It'll be Jeremy Hellickson for the Phils, Justin Verlander on the mound for the Tigers. Day game on Wednesday before the Phillies head off to Chicago. McCann went around on that breaking pitch, and there are 2 outs. And Jose Iglesias will now be the batter. Tigers tonight have scored 5 runs. They have 4 solo home runs. JD Martinez has 1. Miguel Cabrera has 2. Iglesias takes outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
And all 6 home runs tonight, including the 2 from the Phillies, have come off mistake pitches. A couple breaking balls, a couple fastballs up in the zone. Joseph curveball that he hit out of the ballpark to left field. Franco's home run, he hit the left center off a split finger.
Down the right field line, that'll be out of play.
Iglesias, for a little fella, takes an awful big swing. You'd rather just see him hit the ball on the ground and use his speed.
He went around, and Bailey has a strong inning. A 1-2-3 8th inning to keep this at a 1-run deficit. Last chance for the Phillies will go to the 9th inning. The Tigers on top 5-4. Time now for our WB Mason deliveries of the game.
Well, that's going to be talking about Cabrera. 3rd inning, hits his 10th home run off Vince Velasquez to right field. Then he comes up in the 5th inning, gets an off-speed pitch and absolutely crushes this ball. Little left of this ballpark and the old ballpark. Yeah. And then in the 7th inning, he comes up and hits his 500th career double to right center. Having a very good night, and those are your Hyundai defensive play of the games, brought to you by local Hyundai dealers. That's your WB Mason deliveries of the game. I just want. Oh, I wonder because they were actually plays of the game as well. And they were delivery of the game as well.
I got you. Were they defensive though at all?
The other guy in left field made a great play.
He made a great play. You just saw Andrew Romine over at 3rd base. He takes over for the Tigers. Francisco Rodriguez is the new pitcher. Rodriguez delivers the first pitch strike to Andres Blanco, who's pinch hitting for Peter Borges. Blanco hitting .269 with a home run, 7 RBIs. Phillies have 12 hits here tonight, but trail it by 1. It'll be Blanco and then David Lowe.
I mentioned it earlier about facing pitchers that don't throw real hard and they have the good off-speed pitch. This is the one guy right here, Francisco Rodriguez. You have to think big part of the ballpark. Even though it is a 1-run lead and you do want to try to hit a home run, he throws that Bugs Bunny changeup right there. When you try to jump ship, next thing you know, you swing out way out in front of it.
Yep.
I mean, this is a 2-1. You try to stay on that ball, but you just, next thing you know, you're trying to pull it. Next thing you know, you see it going across that barrel. And it's up in the zone most of the times.
Down low, 3-2. Francisco Rodriguez at one point in his career threw 95, 96 miles an hour. He was devastating with the Angels. He's not a big guy, so it's difficult to sustain that, but he certainly has kept the arm motion with his changeup. He's zeroing in on 400 saves.
I struggled really bad versus him.
And a strike 3 called. Andres Blanco tried to move out of the way, but the home plate umpire Mike DeMuro says it got the inside part of the plate. 1 away here in the 9th inning.
You know, front door changeup. Didn't mean to throw it on purpose, but came back in the corner, I guess.
Boy, that's a ball.
That's a ball.
That sure is.
But again, it was a ball in the first inning, and then Herrera,
correct.
The one at bat was a strike. Now it's a strike again.
You're right. David Lowe takes a strike. It's 0-1. David Lowe hitting .224, no homers, 4 RBIs. Off the end of the bat, foul, and now it's 0-2. And now you got to brace for that changeup. You have to brace for the changeup all the time with Francisco Rodriguez.
Well, he just showed with Whitey hitting. You get a 3-2 changeup. It's his bread and butter pitch. He'll throw it anytime in the count. And it's the same motion, same arm angle. I bet you I was 1 for 22 against him in my career.
Well, we can always find it out. Now, was it because you jumped at the changeup?
Yeah. Plus, I didn't like him. I wanted the ball so far against him, I overswung every time. I didn't like closers, Tom.
Swing and a miss. He got him. Second out of the 9th inning. And it's left to Cesar Hernandez.
Again, this is a very good changeup. Swinging over top of it.
Cesar takes low and inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Matt, our research department has informed us that you were 0 for 12 with 3 punch outs against Rodriguez.
Oh, it's better than I thought.
Get a bat, get a hit. No?
Throw a fastball.
1-1 to Cesar, who will be followed by Maikel Franco. Fly ball towards center field. This should do it. Cameron Maybin is under it. He makes the catch, and Francisco Rodriguez records his 399th career save, and the Tigers hang on and win it 5-4 over the Phillies. They take game 1 of the series partly because of Miguel Cabrera. In fact, that was one of the main reasons. Cabrera had 3 hits, 2 home runs, so he's 6 for his last 6. So much for a sore knee. So he is our Chevrolet player of the game because of his efforts here tonight. Brad Ausmus's team is up to the 500 mark. They have won 7 of 8, and they win it tonight 5-4.